Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at Operation Sindur. This is a recent action by the Indian military. It seems to be a response to events in Kashmir, specifically Pahalgam.
That's right. And for this deep dive, our main source is a transcript. It's from a YouTube video on the Shubhankar Mishra channel. The title is Operation Sindur. Thank you, Indian Army and Narendra Modi ji. Thank you, Jo.
Okay, so that title already tells you a bit about the perspective.
Yeah.
Our aim here really is to unpack what this transcript says about Operation Sindur. Why it happened, what it means, the reactions, all based just on this one source.
Exactly. We're looking at how this specific video frames the whole thing.
So diving in, the transcript starts by mentioning Pahalgam. It uses the phrase, Pakistan ne jo kuch kiya tha.
Which means whatever Pakistan did. It doesn't go into huge detail on the event itself initially.
Right. But it quickly points out that after this Pahalgam incident, there was apparently some disappointment, even criticism aimed at Prime Minister Modi.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because the overall tone, especially that title, is pure gratitude now. So there's this shift the video highlights from maybe frustration or questions right after Pahalgam to this thank you message. And understanding that shift seems pretty central to what this video is trying to convey.
Absolutely. The core of it really seems to be this thank you Modi ji narrative. The speaker in the video is thanking the prime minister for, well, what they see as a really strong response against Pakistan.
They use phrases like taking action inside Pakistan, showing them their awqat, their place or standing. And it connects this to 3 different Pakistani prime ministers, suggesting a pattern.
It does. The transcript explicitly draws lines back to earlier incidents. It mentions the Uri attack that was under Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif.
Right.
And then the Pulwama attack when Imran Khan was prime minister. Operation Sindur is positioned as the latest response in this series, now with Shehbaz Sharif in charge in Pakistan.
And the speaker in the video, they even mentioned having criticized Modi themselves in the past, specifically on security. Yeah, they sort of say, I asked questions before, but now...
But now, they feel he's proven himself with this action.
Yeah.
They bring up Modi's own past statements, too. Something about being willing to take risks and promising a big response after Uri and Pulwama.
Which leads into the timing mentioned in the transcript. It alleges a warning was given around April 22nd.
Okay.
And then the action, Operation Sindur, happened on May 7th. So it's presented as quite a quick turnaround, warning then action.
And the scale, according to this source, sounds pretty significant. They talk about 9 missiles.
9 missiles, yeah. And targeting places like Rawalpindi, Baholpur, Muzaffarabad, Mirpur. That's quite a spread, geographically speaking.
Definitely. And another point the transcript makes is about acknowledgement. It claims the Pakistan military actually acknowledged this attack.
Right. And that's presented as a key difference from the past. The video suggests that after earlier strikes, Pakistan tended towards denial or maybe downplaying things.
Makes you wonder how these things usually play out publicly versus what's claimed here. Okay, let's talk about the name, Operation Sindur. The transcript really digs into this.
It does. It explains that Sindur, the vermilion powder, is, well, deeply symbolic in Indian culture. Represents a woman's marital status. It's about respect, faith.
And the video connects this directly to the events in Kashmir. It talks about husbands being killed in front of their wives in Pahalgam. The transcript uses the term ujadna, like desecrating their sindur.
Yeah.
Making them widows in this violent way.
So it's portrayed as more than just loss of life. It's framed as a deep insult, an insult to the women, to their status, and by extension, to Indian and Hindu culture itself, according to this source.
Exactly. So naming the Operation Sindur, well, the video presents it as a very deliberate choice, not just a code name, but a direct answer to that perceived insult, a way to honor those women.
The speaker literally says something like, Operation Sindur wasn't just military action, it was the answer to the tears of those women.
Yeah, it really elevates it, doesn't it? In this narrative, it's not just strategy.
No, it's presented as a tribute, a sign of India's sensitivity, its determination to protect honor, and even a message to the world about, cultural values and zero tolerance for terrorism.
The transcript then circles back to comparing it with previous strikes. So after Uri in 2016, under Nawaz Sharif, it mentions Pakistan denying it, boosting border security, trying to get international criticism.
And then Balakot, 2019 after Pulwama under Imran Khan. Again, the transcript claims initial denial from Pakistan, attempts to downplay it. It mentions a crow narrative.
Yeah, apparently something about only crows being killed.
Yeah.
The video mentions a journalist, Tamimir, supposedly pushing that line then and spreading misinformation now too.
Interesting how narratives clash, right?
Definitely. And so Operation Sindur 2025 under Shahbaz Sharif. Transcript repeats the claim. 9 terrorist camps destroyed, framing it as maybe more decisive, more impactful than before.
That seems to be the implication. That this time the impact was undeniable, perhaps. The justification given in the transcript really leans into the idea that Pahalgam wasn't just an attack, but an attack on India's unity, its Hindu identity.
Right, and therefore, India had to respond decisively. The video suggests this response created actual fear in Pakistan.
And it gets quite specific about the alleged targets. It lists them out.
Okay, let's run through that. It mentions Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters near Bahawalpur.
Yep, about 100 kilometers from the border, it says. Then a Lashkar camp near the line of control, Samba sector, about 30 kilometers in.
Another Lashkar camp in Gulpur near Poonch Rajouri, 35 kilometers. A Lashkar launch pad, Bilawal camp. Location wasn't specified for that one.
Also Lashkar in Kotli, opposite Rajouri, closer, about 15 kilometers from the LOC. Then Barnala camp, no affiliation given.
A Sarjel camp linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed. Another camp in the Sambakathua area, but away from the border.
And finally, a Hizbul Mujahideen training camp, Mamuna, about 15 kilometers from the international border.
Wow, that's quite a detailed list provided in the source.
It is. And it's important to note the speaker in the video makes a point of saying they're glad Pakistani civilians weren't targeted. The claim is the focus was purely on this alleged terrorist infrastructure.
Okay, so stepping back, the broader significance according to this transcript.
It's framed as a symbol. India's strong will, cultural pride, zero tolerance for terror, all wrapped up together.
The speaker even draws a parallel, quite a bold one, to the U.S. operation against Osama bin Laden in Pakistan.
Suggesting a similar level of resolve and capability, reaching into Pakistani territory to neutralize a threat.
And the message, as presented in this video, seems pretty clear towards Pakistan.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in charge over there, Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan, Shahbaz Sharif. If terrorism comes from Pakistan, India will retaliate. That's the message the source conveys.
So it's about action, not just words. And the operation is portrayed as, well, a success.
Definitely presented as successful and highly significant within this narrative.
Okay, so let's try and summarize what we've gathered just from this YouTube transcript. Operation Sindur is presented very much as a forceful, direct reaction to Pahalgam, driven by outrage, but also this specific idea of honoring the victims, especially the widows.
The name Sindur itself is loaded with cultural meaning, framed as restoring respect that was violated. And the operation is positioned as, maybe, a step up from previous responses like the surgical strikes or Balakot. More impactful, showing India's unwavering resolve.
With a claimed focus only on terrorist targets, not civilians, and a strong message sent about zero tolerance.
Exactly. That's the picture painted by this particular source.
So as we wrap up this deep dive based solely on this transcript's perspective, it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? We've explored the narrative and justifications presented here, but it makes you consider what other factors, what other viewpoints might be out there.
Right. How else could we understand these kinds of complex events? What are the broader implications, maybe for regional stability, for international relations, that go beyond just this one account?
What questions does this specific framing raise for you about how nations choose to respond when they feel threatened or attacked? Something to think about.